Okay, let me increase the font. Yes. Okay, now this is our Ubuntu machine. Okay, so whenever you are having onto your Ubuntu machine, okay, you can take your Linux machine also, but you have more commands actually if you're having any Docker files issue with that. Okay, so take your Ubuntu machines, and on your Ubuntu machines, if you want to install Docker, there are 2-3 more couple of commands which you have to add with your Ubuntu machine. Okay, so first of all, let me switch to root user. On Ubuntu machine also, you have to switch to root user only first, right? And command is same on switching to root user also over here, right? So what I'll be doing over here is I'll be switching to root user with sudo space su space hyphen command. On Ubuntu machine also, I'll be giving the same command, and I will switch to root user. Okay, and after switching to root user, I have to fetch the Docker libraries. So Docker has given its own libraries for Ubuntu machine, so you cannot use the same libraries for Linux machine. Okay, so for Ubuntu libraries, okay, I'll be going over here. For these are the commands for Ubuntu libraries, guys. First of all, we'll be installing one certificate over here, okay, which is apt for Ubuntu. Okay, so I'll be copying this command. So take the same command, and you guys do the same steps, only you have to just copy paste the commands over here on Ubuntu. Okay, so I'll be giving the first certificate command. I will be installing this on Ubuntu. Okay, so it got installed over here, and then for the next command, where I'll be getting the download key for Ubuntu over here. Okay, so then I'll be copying my next command for downloading my Docker key over here, again giving the next command for downloading the key for the Ubuntu over here. Okay, so Docker itself has given all these commands to us, guys. If you want to install it on Ubuntu, these are the commands. Okay, so you can download the Ubuntu package. You can see it is giving okay now. Now going for the next command, I'll be adding my Debian package over here. So whatever packages we install on Ubuntu, we call it as Debian packages. Okay, not only this Docker package, going further, when we install some other packages also, we'll be having Debian packages. So you see, I've given the third command, okay, and it is fetching all my Debian packages over here. So basically, these are the steps to install Docker in Ubuntu. Simple. Okay, now once you have done, okay, I will be installing Docker C cache policy. Okay, let me give the next command. Okay, so this is a command for installing the Debian packages have been installed now. Now I'll be going for apt update. Okay, so let me update all the repositories. It is updating all the repositories. It got updated, and finally I will say apt install Docker C. Okay, I'll go back and I will say apt install Docker C. I'll give Y to proceed. Okay, and I will give enter. So it is installing Docker finally over here. So version to version of your operating system, we have set of libraries which you have to install. Okay, Ubuntu, these are the libraries. Why I am telling you to Ubuntu? Because these are okay, very straightforward commands, very straightforward libraries. I've given the command for Linux also. No, you can use the same commands one after the other, and you can install. Okay, so once your installation is done, okay, if I go for systemctl status Docker over here, you can see it is active and running over. Okay, right, so we have installed a Docker on our Ubuntu machine. Okay, so now guys, okay, so now I will check how many images are there with me. So if I check Docker images, right now I don't have any images with me, right? So in the same way, if I check how many containers are there, right now I don't have any containers. Okay, so yesterday what we did is, instead of getting our container images from Docker Hub, or instead of using default images, okay, or instead of using images which are given to us from Docker Hub, we are creating our own images. Okay, we are creating our own images. So Docker has given you the option where you can create your own images also, okay, according to your requirement. For example, you want folder inside your container, add it to the image, right? And if you want to go into a particular directory, add it to that image. Okay, so any changes which you want to do, you want to customize your container, add that changes to your image. Instead of going inside the container, adding that changes in a container, which you can do it manually, no problem. But adding to that image, what will happen? Next time you want the same container, you will use the same image, right? So it's always better to customize our image, okay, or change your image, or add our image according to our own requirement over here. So for that, we have our own Docker instructions or Docker file, which is there, Docker script. We have to add our own instructions in our Docker script. Okay, so once you add your own instructions to your Docker script, it will apply the changes over here for us, right? So as I told you yesterday, okay, let me pull one sample image over here. I will say Docker pull CentOS over here. So let me pull CentOS image. So we are downloading one CentOS image over here. Okay, so once the CentOS image has been downloaded, now if you check Docker space images, I have one image with me, which is CentOS, right? Now, if you check Docker PS even -a also, no containers are there. I did not create any container as of now. So for creating a container, what I will do, I will say Docker space run space -it hyphen name. I'll call my container as C1. I will use CentOS image and I'll give batch. Simple command to create and go inside a container, right? Now, if you give enter over here, you will see that I'm inside my container, right? But if you give ls over here and check, these are all the default files which are related to my CentOS container. Okay, I don't have any Flipkart folder, or I don't have any Snapdeal folder, right, which are my requirements. I want Snapdeal folder to be there, I want Flipkart folder to be there. Okay, so what I'll do then, you will create your own folders. I don't want to do it in this way. I don't want to go inside a container, and I don't want to add my changes like this. Okay, this is a manual way of adding our changes, right? Manual procedure of adding our changes. So never be, okay, go in a manual way. In real time, what you will do is you will add your changes to your images using our Docker script, right? Now, exiting from this container, I will go and I will start opening my Docker file, and name of your Docker file should be Docker file only. I cannot give any other names. Like normally for some other script files, for shell script or bash script, for Python script, you can add your own names. Even for Terraform script also, you can add your own names, not for Docker file. Okay, it's the same standard name which we have to use over here. No other name can be added. Now I'll be opening my Docker file. Go inside your Docker file and let me start writing my instructions over here on my Docker file. So the first thing which we did was, in whichever image you want to do the customization, first of all, take that image. Always your Docker script, your Docker file will start from keyword only. And whatever keywords you are giving, that should be in uppercase only. Your keyword should not be in lowercase. So from is a keyword over here. Okay, so from CentOS, which means from CentOS, on CentOS, we have to do some changes. So it is doing some changes on my CentOS image. Okay, so from CentOS, I'm getting the CentOS from over here, and what I want to do is I want to create a folder over here inside my CentOS image. So I'll write run command over here, and using run, I will say mkdir for creating a directory. I will give -p for permission, and I will create a Flipkart folder over here. Flipkart folder will get created over here, right? So in the same way, if you want to create one more folder, give the same run command mkdir -p, and I will create one Snapdeal folder also. You can create two folders also, right? So I am giving my instructions. These instructions will be added to your new image actually. So when you're writing your Docker script and when you're writing your Docker file, So when you run and execute your Docker file, it will create a new image for us, right? So these are the new things which I'm adding to my image over here. So two directories I'm creating inside my container, okay, without going in my container also. So I have written from over here and I've written the instructions as well. Now let me save my file over here. Okay, I will come out of my file, and to run and execute this Docker script, I will say Docker space build space -t, give your image name. I'll call my image name as, okay, Lenovo, and then okay, so it will create an image for you based on what? Based on your Docker file. Based on your Docker file, whatever changes you have added to your Docker file, it will run and execute your Docker file, and it will create a new image called as Lenovo. You can give any name. So I'm giving Lenovo as the image name over here. So it will create an image for me with the name Lenovo over here. Okay. So now let me give enter over here. Okay, and it will create an image for me over here. See. So when it is running and executing your Docker file, okay, it will run it as a stepwise over here, guys. So always your Docker file will get run and executed in a sequence order only. So step one, okay, it is pulling the image CentOS. Step number two, it is creating one Flipkart directory. Step number three, it is creating one Snapdeal directory, and then it has successfully created one image for us. So your Docker file execution will happen in a stepwise order only. In whichever order you are giving your steps, in the same order wise only it will take place over here. Okay, right, very good. Now going back, and if I check how many images I have over here, you will see that you are having two images now. One new image got created, and the name of my new image is Lenovo over here. Okay, and it got created 45 seconds ago. We have created our container image, right? Now using this image, I will create one container. Using my Lenovo image, I will create my container. Same thing I did with CentOS also, right? Using CentOS, I have created my container. Now Lenovo is my own image. So using my own image, I'll create my container, right? So I will say the same command, docker space run space -it hyphen name. I'll create a C2 container using Lenovo image, and I will go inside this container using bash. Using bash, I will go inside this container, right? So now if I give enter over here, you will see, okay, that a new container got created over here, right? And if I give ls over here and check, you will see that Flipkart folder is there and Snapdeal folder is also there. I did not created these folders after going inside a container. Okay, I created these folders on my image only itself. I added this folder directly onto my image. I customized my image. Technically, we call it as image customization. Okay, so I'm adding these changes to my image directly, and then if I create a container, these changes will be overseen over here. Right? Very good. Now let me exit from my container. Okay, and as we have seen yesterday, okay, so in my Docker file, I will add few more instructions over here. Okay, as I told you, we have keywords over here, right? So yesterday we have seen one more keyword which is called as work dir, or nothing but our working directory. Okay, so when you are adding your working directory, in whichever folder you want, you can go inside your container, and directly it will take you inside that particular directory only over here, right? So for example, I want to go inside Snapdeal directory, guys. I will write Snapdeal over here. So whenever you go inside a container, you will land in which directory? We will land in Snapdeal directory. Okay, so work dir over here is nothing but working directory. Okay, and if you are observing again, this instruction is in uppercase only. Okay, so we have to write work dir in uppercase only over here, right? And which directory I want to go? I want to go inside a Snapdeal directory. So whenever I land inside my container, I will go to my Snapdeal directory only, right? So in the same way, again, I will save my Docker file. So one by one, I'm adding the instructions. Okay, one by one I'm adding new instructions over here. So I'll save my Docker file. Okay, and after saving your Docker file, now check how many images are there. Two images are there. Lenovo is your latest image. Right now, what I will do, I added some change in my Docker file. Right, in my Docker script, I have added few changes. Again, we have to create one more image. Okay, now if you ask me, sir, Lenovo is there. If I create one more new image, so that new image will become your latest image. If I create one more new image, the latest image will have Snapdeal, Flipkart, and it will have work directory also. So always try to use latest images over here also. Okay, same thing we did for our virtual machines also. When you capture the image, okay, out of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's image, Wednesday's is your latest image. It will have the data of Monday and Tuesday also. Same thing over here as well. Your latest image will have all the instructions. Okay, so try to use your latest image. Right now, let me create my latest image over here. I'll say Docker space build space -t. Now I'll call the name of this image as Acer and I'll give dot over. Okay, I can give any name to my images, right? So I'm creating one more image over here with name Acer, and whatever changes I added to my Docker file, it will get reflected on this Acer image. Okay, now if you give enter over here, it will get run and it will get executed. And if you see the new change got added over here, we have added one work dir. So work dir got added over here onto my file over here, right? So now going back over here, now check how many images are there. I will check Docker space images, and you see one new Acer image got created over here. How many seconds ago? 25 seconds ago, one new image got created over here, right? That is my Acer image, right? Again, I will create a container using my Acer image, and I will check that I'm going directly inside my Snapdeal directory or not. Okay, so I will say Docker space run space, okay, -it hyphen name. This is my container 3 C3 container, and I will use my Acer image, and to go inside I'll use bash. Okay, so now again if I give enter over here, you will see that I'm inside my container and directly I'm landing on which directory? On Snapdeal. Directly I'm landing on my Snapdeal directory over here. Okay, so no need to do any cd Snapdeal again. So directly inside your Snapdeal directory only. Okay, so one more benefit. Now again I'll exit from over here. Okay, again I will go to my Docker file and let me add one more instruction over here. Okay, now this is again a new instruction which we did not added yesterday, which is cmd. Okay, cmd is basically your normal command instruction. Okay, cmd is known as our command instruction. So you can run some basic commands over here, such as if you want to do an ls inside a container, I can write cmd ls over. Okay, like this. So some of the basic commands which you want to run inside your container, you could be running from over here also. So we can add cmd ls over here, right? Now after writing cmd ls, okay, let me save my file. Again, let me save my Docker file over here. I've added one more new instruction. Okay, now after adding one more new instruction, I will create one more new image. Okay, I will run and execute my Docker file using Docker space build space -t, and this time I will give a name to my image as Dell, and I will give dot over. Okay, previous image name was Acer. Okay, this time I have given the image name as Dell over here. So you can use any image names over here. I'm using Dell as my image name, right? So now if I give enter over here, you can see now 5 steps got executed over here, and new step cmd ls also got executed, and then image got built successfully. Okay, and image name is Dell, and this is the latest image. Okay, and we have added the latest change and it got added also over here. Now check how many images are there. If you go for Docker space images, you can see one Dell image got added over here. One new Dell image got added, right? And it got created about 25 seconds ago. Okay, so using Dell image, what I will do is I will create a container over here again. Okay, so I'll say Docker space run space -it hyphen name. Okay, I think this is my C4 container and I will use my Dell image. Okay, and then I'll use bash to go inside a container. Okay, now if I give enter over here, you will see that right now you are inside a container, you are inside Snapdeal directory. As inside this directory, okay, nothing was there. If you give ls, that's why it is giving blank over here. If you have anything, it will list over there. Just simply it is running ls command, that's directly over here, right? Now, okay, so now let me give exit from over here this container, and as I told you guys earlier also, let me go to my Docker file again. So we will be having 4 environments over here in real time, guys. And when we are working in a company's environment, in a real time environment, we'll be having 4 or 5 environments actually. So starting from your development environment, and then we have our testing, staging, non-prod and prod. Okay, or mostly many of the companies will not have staging also actually. Dev, test, non-prod and prod. Okay, so anyhow there may be 4 to 5 environments. Okay, let it be, no problem for us. Now what happens over here is you will run containers for each environment. For development you will run, for production you will run, for non-prod also you will run, right? So when you are running for different environments over here, okay, so you want to know in which environment your container is running. Okay, so you want to check that environment over here, we have to give the keyword as env. In my env gives your environment name over here. Okay, so you can give a name and you can set your environment name such as dev, or you can give your environment name as test environment, or you can give your environment name as non-prod. Okay, or you can give your environment name as production also, prod. Okay, so you are declaring your environment name under a name parameter over here. Okay, and you are running this for production environment, so the name production will be available to us over here, right? Now after giving this thing, let me save my Docker file. Okay, I'll give shift:\wq over here for writing and quitting my Docker file. Now again I've added few more changes to my Docker file, right? Again I will create a new image. And how to create a new image? Docker space build space -t. Okay, and let me give my image name as, okay, let me give my image name as apple over here, and then I will give that. Okay, so now I will give enter over here. Again all the instructions will get executed. It will create a new image for me. I'm giving a name as apple over here, and now if I give enter, you can see one more 6th step also got executed. I've given my environment name as well over here. Okay, so we have given our environment name, and our environment name is available over here like this. Okay, very good. Now let me go and let me check how many images are there. Now I'll say Docker space images. You can see one new image got updated over here, that is apple. Now using this apple's image, I'll create one more new container. So if you observe one more thing also, guys, you are adding changes to your container, still your size is not increasing, right? This is the efficiency of a container. I'm adding changes, I'm creating directories, right? I'm adding so many changes, still your size is being very much limited over here. Max to max, it will go to 250 max. You're adding more changes also. Okay, that is the efficiency of our containers, right? Now using my Apple image, I will create a one more container over here. So I will say Docker space run space -it hyphen hyphen name. This is my C5 container. I will use an Apple image, and to go inside this, I will write a bash right here to go inside this. Okay. Now, if I give enter over here, you will see one more new container got created, and environment name also got assigned over here, right? So if you want to check your environment name, you can give echo dollar name, because in the name only you have assigned your environment name, right? So I'm printing the name value over here. If you give enter, it will give you that your environment name is prod. Okay, so giving your environment name is the best practice. In real time, when you give env, so if you want to check immediately in which environment you are, with this we can check. Okay, so it helps you to find in which environment you are running your containers. Okay, so one of the things which we use in real time is our env variable, okay, which helps us to assign our environment name over here, right? And now let me give again exit from over here, this container, and let me go back to my Docker file again, and let me show you one more new instruction over here, guys. That is our expose instruction. So with expose instruction, what you will be doing over here is you will be opening your container ports. So whatever port you want to open over here on your containers, we'll be opening our container ports by giving container port numbers over here right after it. Okay, for example, you want to open port number 80, write 80 over there. Okay, you want to open port number 8080, write 8080 over there. Okay, so we can open our particular ports onto our containers by giving our expose keyword over here. Okay, so one more new keyword has been added over here with expose. Okay, so remember all these keywords, guys, actually, which will be very helpful for you. Okay, now again, let me save my Docker file. So I will go back, okay, and I will create a one more new image over here. So let me check right now how many images are there. Okay, so Apple was my latest image over here. Now let me create a one more image. I will say Docker space build space -t. Okay, and this time I will use a new name over here as HP as my image name, and then I'll give dot. Okay, now I'll give a dot. Now if I give enter over here, okay, you can see one more new image got created, and it has opened the port also over here, and it has successfully created the image as well. Okay, one more new instruction got added over here, and it has successfully created the image as well for me, right? So now, so going back, you can check now one more new image got created over here, and the image name is HP, right? And it got created about 23 seconds ago. Okay, so in the same way, you can create your container also. So let me first check how many containers I'm having. I've created 5 containers till now. Okay, so now let me create a one more container using my HP image. Okay, just to check that the container is able to get created finally or not. Okay, so if you run Docker space run space -it hyphen name, let me create a C6 container. I will use a HP image, and then I'll give a bash to go inside this container. Okay, now if I give enter over here, if your container is getting created successfully, anyhow, when image is getting created successfully, it will give you successful tag over here. Still, for our confirmation, we are creating the containers. Okay, and it is getting created over here quite finely, right? Now, okay, so let me give exit over here, and now let me tell you one more very important thing, guys, over here. Okay, so let me come to my pane diagram over here, and let me open a new image. Okay, for example, guys, if I have my virtual machine over here, okay, and in this virtual machine I'll be having my container over here like this. Okay, and I have one file over here inside my virtual machine, guys, for example, and file name is file1. There is one file inside my virtual machine called as file1. I want to copy this file to my container. Okay, what I want to do is I want to copy this file1 to my container. So from virtual machine, I want to copy some files to my containers. Okay, and I want to add this instruction in my Docker file itself, because in an automated way I want this file to get copied over there. Okay, I'll not be doing any manual step over here. So what I'll be doing over here is, if you want to copy any files, okay, from your virtual machine, I can copy my file from virtual machine to my Docker containers over here, like this. Okay, so what I'll do over here is, let me go back to my, okay, Docker file again. So first of all, check how many images are there. Okay, so I have these many images. Okay, now let me create a one more, okay, instruction in my Docker file. I'll add a one more Docker file, but before that, okay, first of all, we should have one file one inside our virtual machine, right? Okay, so let me create one file one over here first of all. Okay, so for creating a file, I'll give touch space file one, and you can see one file one got created over here, right? And I want to copy this file one to my container. And how I want to copy this file to a container? Using my Docker file, using my Docker image. I will add an instruction over here such that the file one from your virtual machine, okay, the file one from your virtual machine, it will get copied to your container. Okay, so let me go back over here and let me check how many images are there. These are there. So I will open my Docker file, okay, and I will start writing one instruction over here, which is called as copy instruction. Okay, using my copy command, using my copy instruction, I will be copying a file from my virtual machine to my container. For example, I will be copying my file one, and where I want to copy this file one to my Snapdeal folder, for example, you can write over here like. Okay, so in this way we will be copying our file from our virtual machine to our container, and inside container I'm copying inside it in the Snapdeal folder. If I write Flipkart, it will go inside Flipkart folder also. Okay, so the simple instruction over here is our copy instruction. So with the copy instruction, we'll be copying our file from virtual machine to our container over here, right? Now let me save my Docker file again, and let me create one more new image out of this, so that the file will get copied onto that image also. So I will say Docker space build space -t, okay, and let me give this image name over here as, okay, Sony, and then dot. Okay, so I'm giving a one more new image name over here with the Docker build -t. Okay, Sony over here, and then dot. Okay, now let me give enter over here, and you can see that all the 8 steps got executed over here, and it is telling me that file also got copied actually, and image got built successfully over here. Okay, so anyhow, what I will do is I'll create a container, and then I will go and I will check inside my container that file one got actually copied or not over here, right? So now let me check how many images are there. Okay, so one new image also got created over here. The image name is Sony over here, right? And now let me create one container. I will say Docker space run space -it hyphen name. This is my C7 container over here, and let me use my Sony image, and I will give bash to go inside this container. Right now you will give enter over here, and you will see that right now I'm inside my container, and if I give ls and check, you can see file one got copied from my virtual machine to my container. Okay, so the Docker file instruction itself, I can add this over here, and with the help of your copy command and with the help of your copy instruction, your file will get successfully will get copied to your container over here with the help of our copy command. Okay, now let me again exit from this container over here. Okay, and now let me check again that how many images are there. Okay, so I have these many images over here. Okay, now let me open my Docker file. Let me tell you one more instruction over here, guys. Okay, so normally we will be having our team of guys who will be working on our containers over here, right? Okay, so what we will do generally is whoever is setting up your Docker file. Okay, so this is just a sample instruction, you can say. We have an instruction called as maintainer. So you can write the name of your person who is just developing or writing your Docker file with the name of a maintainer over here. Okay, for example, Rajesh is writing this file, you can write Rajesh over here. It's nothing but Rajesh is a maintainer of this Docker file. So this will be a reference that who will be creating this file, they'll be adding that name over here. Okay, and that maintainer name will be available over here with this set like this. Okay, now in the same way, okay, let me save my Docker file again. Okay, just a second. Okay, so let me save my Docker file over here again. Okay, and you can create a one more new image over here. So right now, how many images are there? Sony is my latest image over here, right? So I can add up a one more new image over here. So I'll say Docker space build space -t. Okay, and let me give a one more new image over here. Okay, I'll give a name over here as JVL and then okay. So basically, I'm giving a name of the companies over here, right? So if I give enter over here, you can see that one more new image got created over here with the add name as maintainer name as Rajesh over here as well, right? So you can see over here that all my instructions are getting executed in the right way over here, guys, right? Okay, so if I go to my Docker file again, so normally sometimes if you are giving instructions which are not right over here, for example, what I will do over here is I will let me write CM and let me write something as IOPM. Okay, some unnecessary things I'm adding over here, which are not right. So now if you save and execute your Docker file and if you try to add some changes over here, and again if you try to build your container image over here in this way, it will tell you that there is an issue over here in which line number 13. So if you are adding your instructions in the right way and if you are giving your instructions in the right format and the right syntax, then only that Docker file will get executed over here, guys. Okay, and if you are not giving any instructions over here, see, it is clearly telling that instruction CM, because there is no instruction called as CM over here. Okay, so that is the reason it is not understanding the instruction as CM over here. It is saying unknown instruction CM, and it is happening at line number 13 over here. So it is not able to understand the CM instruction. So it is not able to create a new image for you. So if there are any issues or errors in your Docker file, your Docker file execution will not happen over here. It will stop over there. So at line number 13, it did not verify the instruction as CM over here. Okay, so all our instructions got executed because we have given the instructions in the right way, in the right syntax, so it got executed, and this is not getting executed because it is not in a right syntax over here, right? So just be aware of these thing over here, because if it is right, it would be creating, or else your Docker file will tell you that there is an error, an issue, and it is not going to move anything over here. right? So using these instructions, whatever we have given over here, guys, okay, add and create your Docker files. Okay, actually I wanted to give this copy command as a task for you guys. Okay, I wanted you guys to actually copy the files, okay, using your Docker file. Okay, anyhow, no problem. Okay, so going back, okay, so just try to create your images, guys. These are some of the very important instructions that which we'll be giving. Most of them are used in real time and definitely being asked in your interview questions also. Okay, this is very simple and very easy actually. Okay, not a lot of programming is involved over here. Okay, so each has its own importance, each will do its own task over here, and you will be adding it. So creating your containers, and according to your changes you will modify your containers, so it will become very easy for us for adding these changes with the help of our instructions and with the help of our container commands, Docker commands or Docker instructions, you can say majorly. Okay, so try to do this. Okay, and try to create your Docker files, try to create your own images. Okay, and run your own containers, right? And check with the instructions. Okay, so this is the format, guys. Capital letters, uppercase, all your keywords on the left side, all your required changes on the right side. In this format you try and complete your Docker file instructions. Okay, fine, guys. So I hope, okay, that would be enough, okay, for our today's session. And then tomorrow we'll be jumping onto our shell scripting, okay, and the bash scripting onto our Linux environment.